Don't touch your face. Don't go out in public. Don't forget to wash your hands. Don't use sandpaper instead of toilet paper. All things I'm sure you're hearing all day, and I am sick of it. But in today's world of no's, I'm gonna add one more don't in the mix, which I hope you can understand why, but no one right now should buy the 13-inch MacBook Pro. Let's begin. There are lots of variables at play here that are indicating that a refresh for this MacBook is imminent, and a fairly substantial one at that too. See, we just got the refreshed MacBook Air with its new Magic Keyboard, which is basically just Apple saying, yeah, butterfly keys, we were wrong about that, let's go back to the old way. And in my opinion, if they're willing to bring the Magic Keyboard to the MacBook Air, that means they're bringing it to everything. It's just a matter of time. In fact, it's kind of bizarre that they didn't want to do it with the MacBook Pro at the same time, but if you remember my videos a while back when they first started adopting the Magic Keyboard on the MacBook Pro again, that's when I thought, you know, Phil said they wanted to keep pursuing butterfly keys as well as the Magic Keyboard so they can kind of figure out the best of both. And my initial thought was, well, maybe because the MacBook Air is so thin and light, they'll keep the butterfly keyboard on that. But nope, only a couple months later, boom, it's gone. Now we want more travel. Now we want more traditional style keyboards on our thin MacBooks. So if they're willing to do it on the MacBook Air, they're absolutely more than willing to do it on the thicker, heavier MacBook Pro. They just haven't got around to it yet, probably because there's some CPU and GPU improvements they want to bring along with it in the future. The 13-inch MacBook Pro is so insanely dated now compared to the rest of the lineup. It's insane to me that the cheaper MacBook Air that starts at $1,000, that gets 256 gigs by default. Heck, even the $800 Mac Mini gets 256 gigs by default. Same default storage configuration as the $6,000 Mac Pro, to put you in perspective of how stupid this is. But on top of all of that, the 13-inch MacBook Pro is still, I believe, the only Mac at this point that comes with a default of 128 gigs, and that's the Pro model. That's not even the Air. Like, how? And this is at a higher starting price than both the Mac Mini or the MacBook Air, mind you. Like, what makes it worth all that extra money? Like, is it the touch bar? Is it the notoriously unreliable butterfly keyboard? A refresh is coming. Absolutely, people. I know Phil Schiller tried to pretend like, oh, that's not coming. We don't know about that. We'll see. You know, who knows what's going to happen? We do know. This is happening at some point in the next couple months. My best guess is that they want to unveil it at Worldwide Developers Conference, but they have to be working on it now if they're willing to do all these minor refreshes with the Mac lineup, but not address the 13-inch MacBook Pro. They gave the 15-inch MacBook Pro this whole new treatment, giving it, you know, an extra inch of display, the new Magic Keyboard, better thermals, which in return helped the updated internals as well. They gave it the escape key and all that. They improved the speakers. They gave it new microphones, thinner bezels. Overall, this has to be coming to the 13-inch MacBook Pro, which will inevitably lead to a 14-inch MacBook Pro. Yes, one that starts at 256 gigs of storage and probably the same starting price as the one that currently sits there. The other prediction I would like to make is that since the MacBook Air has gotten so much more powerful, you can now rock a quad core in that thing. I think the refresh for the new cheapest MacBook Pro is going to come with 4 Thunderbolt 3 ports by default. So they will, in the argument of simplicity, just have 4 Thunderbolt 3 ports on every single MacBook Pro. There won't be the 2 Thunderbolt 3 version. And if you just need 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports and that's okay, go ahead and just get a heavily maxed out MacBook Air. You know, update that storage, update that CPU, and enjoy your laptop that's going to sound like an airliner every time it takes off. But the other reason I heavily recommend people waiting is because I think Apple has some big stuff in store for Worldwide Developers Conference when it comes to the iPad. In my opinion, iPad Pro, as soon as you dock it with that Magic Keyboard, it counts as a laptop now. Touching the screen becomes, you know, easy and fluid, but at the same time not required if you have that cursor and keyboard attached. So in my opinion, that's a decently priced laptops with specs that, you know, you cannot find on others. Things like the A12Z chip, which are really fast, and I think there's a chance at June we may see Apple bring some more pro apps to the iPad, whether it's Final Cut or Xcode or Logic. That would be amazing, but it may give MacBooks a run for their money if you're able to buy something like an iPad and get 120 hertz, an actual decent front-facing camera and rear-facing camera, which MacBooks don't have at all. Of course, you have that Apple Pencil support. You still have great speaker system. The only limitation is kind of I/O and software not being as good, but I think they may have some stuff up their sleeve that's going to make the iPad feel more so of a laptop replacement than it is right now. And for those reasons, I heavily recommend anyone in the market for a new MacBook Pro, don't get the 13-inch. And if you absolutely have to, find it on sale somewhere. You know, go to Apple's Certified Refurbished, find a discount at least, because this thing has to be getting a refresh soon. There's no way for the rest of 2020 2020, it's just gonna be rocking the same old butterfly keyboard and the same 128 gigs that no other Mac is shipping standard with right now. They have to update it. They have to. Come on. It's the MacBook Pro, and at its current state, it's an embarrassment. It's a joke to the lineup. Don't buy it. Okay, just wait a little bit longer until they refresh it. But if you guys think I'm missing something, or you think there's a really great use case for the 13-inch MacBook Pro, feel free to let me know over on Twitter. Join my Discord. We can bicker more about it there. We love banning people. It's a lot of fun. And sandpaper works as a pretty decent alternative to toilet paper. Give it a try. This is your Apple Sheep here. I'll see you in the next one.